You gotta look in.
Documentary Sugar Coated. Oh my God. You seen it?
It's terrifying.
Holy shit. Real quick documentary. This is one that I've watched over and over. It's really, really good.
If you say it's the best of all time, I'm gonna freak out.
No, it's not. It's not. But it's really, really good. Because especially for conspiracy theorist type, it's called How Big Oil Conquered the World. There's a documentary called The Fence. Will blow your fucking mind. They never finished it. They abandoned it. It's deserted. Mexican dudes are going, what are these Americans doing? They're interviewing Mexicans. They're just like, this is easy. This documentary is called about the birth of oil and how it came in and infected all our lives and how John Rockefeller monopolized fucking everything. To find it, dude, it's an incredible, and it's free on YouTube. Yeah, that's a big red flag there. Hey, there's a documentary you can watch on YouTube.
Oh, here goes Eddie.
OJ, The Untold Story.
Oh, no. His son didn't do it.
Is it on
Watch
YouTube?
that one.
Is it on
OJ,
YouTube?
The Untold Story.
Oh, can I find it on Netflix?
Oh no, it's at the library, bro.
It is
It's at the
made
library.
in America.
The Sugar Association, they didn't want it to be labeled as for what it really was, an addictive toxin. They wanted to keep it ain't that bad in moderation. It ain't that bad. It makes things taste sweet. It's about love. They tell you, we don't know shit. We're looking at a bunch of lights in the goddamn sky. You're gonna tell me that light and that light that's 250, 100 trillion light years away? How the fuck did you figure that out?
Well, don't they have an explanation for that shit?
No, exactly. That's what you just said right now. What you just said now is what everyone's
did we
natural
go-
reaction. Because anytime someone says anything about space, you automatically think someone figured it out. You don't know the guy's name. You don't know the name of the experiment. You didn't look into it yourself. You just think when someone tells you, how far is the Earth from the sun? They'll say, 93 million miles away. Like you just,
Right.
you
Googled it.
everybody relies on someone figured that out and someone double checked it. Dude, it's math.
Right.
It's science. It's math. But no one really knows. So they paid, according to this documentary, they paid off hard, because everyone's like, I'm science this, I'm science that. So it's beautiful when people do that, because then all you do is buy off all the scientists and you got everybody.
I
Boom.
love some sugar though, man.
Yeah,
It
but
could
here's
all
the
be
thing.
bullshit.
Those documentaries get you so juiced up. They're so juicy. They seem so good. They seem so real. You get fired up, and then once you get fired up, it's tough to get unfired up.
Hey, Chunky Joe! Other guns never make tapes. We'll never make tapes. We'll never make them. We're just sick of you. King of this, king of that. You're the king of dog shite. Dog shite you're the king of. Right? You won Fox Milk Candy the second time. You see there? 22 year. It begs you to box him. 3 months after, you wouldn't box him. You cried. You told me you're sad.
Be an idiot.
Hey, Ron. Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute. Hey, Ron. You done messed up, hey, Ron.
You filthy animal.
Aaron, thoughts? God, I do love these theme songs. I mean, I have some specific points.
Okay.
17,000 miles an hour in space is a lot different than on Earth because there's no wind. There's no wind resistance.
It's still 17,000 miles an hour.
It's fast.
It's
I'm
still
not saying it ain't difficult.
17,000. Realize, just stop and think for just a second. It's not 1,000 miles an hour. It's not 2,000 miles an hour. It's not 3,000 miles an hour. It's not 8,000 miles an hour. It's not 10,000 miles an hour.
It's
17 fucking thousand miles an hour. And they've never had an accident. No. And it's been up there for 20 fucking years with shitty ass solar panels.
Okay. Aaron, go
Also,
on.
solar panels out in space, no ozone layer, no UV layer. It might be stronger out there.
It might.
I might be because I don't know the science.
20,
Okay.
20
All
years.
right, all right,
20
all right.
years. Those
Go on.
solar panels are 20 years old.
Go on, Aaron. Anything else?
I'm merely enjoying the show.
Okay,
at this
thank
point.
you. And I respect that, Aaron. At the end of the day, would you agree that NASA has a credibility problem?
I would not argue that.
You would not argue that. Okay.
Yeah, it's their fault because when you have a guy like Don Pettit, a former astronaut, who he goes on in front of the world and says, yeah, I'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond, except we don't have the technology anymore. We destroyed that technology, and it's been a painful process to put it back together.
It makes
again.
no sense.
Come on.
It makes no sense.
You're going to say that, and you're not going to go, wait a minute.
It
You're going to
makes
hear
no
that.
sense.
You're going to hear that and go, that's not proof. That's not proof. That's not proof.
I think people want to believe. They'd rather come up with excuses not to believe it than think that maybe they're getting, because that's where the anger comes from. Okay, so you want to do this last thing. We have one more thing for you, Eddie. Here we go.
So go ahead and we'll wait for your
I'm an only
rebuttal.
child, so I can have a good time by myself.
Joey,
I know
right.
how to have a parade in my head by myself. So I just throw something out there and wait for him to catch it, and then I go attack it. It's like when I told Eddie, when Eddie asked me what was wrong with Joe Rogan. And I told Eddie that Joe got accosted by the CIA, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Whenever you talk to Joe on the phone, don't you hear the phone click?" Right there, that was a crucial moment in the conversation. Because if he says no, I don't have him. But if he says yes, I got this motherfucker. And he says yes. Everybody's phone clicks. We all got cell phones. Once he said yes, I knew I had him. So I just kept pounding him with Joe Rogan and the CIA. He's getting followed. When you go do the podcast, look at the pole. There's a camera up there.
Oh my
God. Then I got the guy from my block with the cop car to come to the store. I gave him a yardstick, and I told him to sit by the store. One night that Eddie and Joe were there, and I called Eddie out. And I go, look down the corner. There's a cop car.
up.
Yes, I did. And I go, hey, listen to all your conversations. This went on for like a year. I kept toying with him. And then finally, after a year, I got on a plane with Joe, and Joe, comes on with his bag of vitamins, and he lands on the plane with like a bag on it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on with Eddie? He told Alex Jones I'm in the CIA, and I'm fucking howling. Because it was me who put it in his head for a
Johnny
year.
Appleseed
Oh, I
planting those
just
seeds,
kept,
dog.
you just keep everyone.
So Joey torments you. Is this what's happening here?
I guess so.
Dude, I love
Do you know how
dude.
scary it is to see you not smile across the table while
Does
playing
that
that
upset
clip?
you? We could edit that
No.
out. That was a weird moment.
No.
Eddie.
I didn't tell Alex Jones Joe was in the CIA.
Right.
But there you go. We're
right.
I didn't.
We
Right.
want to have both sides of the
No.
story. We can't have
He,
Joey.
he just said, what you do? What happened to Eddie? He just told Alex Jones that I was in the CIA.
And I would never do anything to. I hope you don't take it. We
Me
were just
and
having-
Alex Jones were having dinner after the podcast, that
Right.
giant one, and it's not a secret that Joe used to be a conspiracy theorist, and he was the moon hoax crusader, and then now he's not. And I don't know if that's ever happened in the history of man, but go from not trusting the government to trusting them, I don't know. So
we get hit up with that a lot.
But anyways, whatever. So Alex said, "What do you think happened? What happened?" I said, "I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if someone talked to him." So that's all I said. Not that I had any proof,
Right,
or anything.
right,
I didn't have any
right,
proof.
right.
He just asked me, "What do you think?" I go, "Joe's not telling me shit. I don't know if he would." I go, "But it wouldn't surprise me if someone talked to him."
Yeah, Duncan.
So
was-
that turned into Joey saying,
Yeah.
I never said he was in the CIA.
I think it's just friends busting each other's balls.
That's exactly
I don't
what
want
it
you
is.
to.
No, that's
fucking-
exact- that's
We would
exactly
never
what it
do anything to be disrespectful.
Hey,
to
you know what? That's
it's just comedy and it's fun and everybody's busting each other's balls. Eddie, nobody loves you more than me.
Eh.
I love you to death.
The
You can
doorway
choke
is
me
that
out,
way. We
though.
have to go by Eddie to
You
get
can
to the
choke
door.
me out.
No, but I understand why. I understand why Joey's saying that. I understand that.
I think it's all everybody's having fun.
He
I think
did.
people-
Joe got mad because Alex Jones goes on air and says, I heard from reliable sources that yes, the CIA talked to Joe and talked to his family, and they threatened his family. Like Alex Jones said that on air after I said, shit, I wouldn't be surprised if someone talked to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who else wouldn't think that? I mean,
Right.
a lot of people think that.
I get that.
You know what I mean? It's not that crazy. He's super famous,
And he has
crazy
that-
famous, and now he's got a influential podcast. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, no.
People get suicided. So a little talking to.
Duncan asked him
That's
on the
not
last
that crazy.
podcast.
That's not that crazy.
Really?
So
Oh yeah, I saw that. He says he got a little nervous with him.
Duncan just confronted him. He's just like, hey, man, I'm worried about you. You're too big, you know? You have too big of a voice. So, hey, it's all of us who really takes this seriously.
So Alex says, I heard from sources that he had been talking, reliable. So if you listen to Alex Jones, shit, it sounds like someone really told him that this is real, that Joe got,
So
sat
you're
down.
saying that he's not referring to your conversation.
No,
you're saying
because Alex
he's
Jones
referring to-
exaggerated.
I was really confident. I really felt like if Hoyler's next, I really just wanted to just jump in. I felt really, really confident I could beat him. I had some confidence going. But halfway through that first 5 minutes, I was like doubting myself. I was like, wow, Hoyler's got some serious control. He had a really good head and arm, half guard pass. I mean, he's no joke. Hoyler's no joke. I knew this was going to be tough to pull out. But I knew if he fell into one of my death spots that I would get him. I knew if I could slap a triangle on him, I could close a triangle. If I would have had his back, he would have been done. I almost had his back for a second. Just creep around the back door. I know if I have Hoyler's back, I'd choke him out. If I have anybody my way, my back, 98% of the time I'm going to choke them out. But getting there, that's a different story. I got to be able to get there. I remember a couple things. I remember when I swept him. I had never done that sweep before. How my left arm was over his right shoulder and across his back, and my right arm was under his left leg, and I had my hands together. And I remember just like moving around going, damn, this could be a sweep. And I was kind of feeling his base, and I was thinking, wait a minute, this is Royler Gracie. I can't sweep him like this. It seems too easy. I say, you know what? Let's try it out. And I just powered it over, and it worked. I'm like, whoa, I never tried that before. So I remember that. That was a little war that was going on in my head. And I also remember sitting back going for the 100% on him. And I remember, I heard stories about his, shoulder, how it's, double jointed. And then you've seen that fight with Sakuraba where he didn't even get injured, and his arm was, almost touching the back of his head. So I knew his shoulders were freaky, but when I went for the 100%, that thing just slipped out. There was nothing to hold on to. Then I realized, man, this guy doesn't have a damn shoulder. Pulled him in my guard, and then I was setting up for the omoplata. I had mission control on him, and I was thinking, man, if I go for the omoplata, this is not going to work. I had his hand down on the mat. Everything worked perfectly up to that point, but then I was thinking, man, I'm going to blow this. I'm going to go for an omoplata, and I'm not going to have a shoulder to really lock. He's going to squirm out. We're going to scramble. I'm going to be in a bad position. So then I knew I had to get him in a triangle. There was no other way. I had to get him in a triangle. I was thinking about testing the invisible collar, but as I was starting to test it, he started to pass, and then he passed my guard. And then when I put him back in the guard, he passed my guard, and then I jailbreaked him, put him back in the guard. I remember when I grabbed his wrist, I felt like I could hold that wrist for as long as I wanted to. I felt like weakness. I felt like I was just stronger than him. Not that he's weak, but I just felt like I could control that wrist long enough to get my right leg out over and slap it through. And that was like an instant. That was a flash. Grabbed his wrist and I said, let's do it. Bam! And then I just did it. Once I had the triangle in, I was thinking, this is what I've been training for the past 8-10 months or whatever. This is it. Tapping out Royler. This is it. This means more than anything. And you can tell by the video, I just let it all out right there. I just squoze, man. I just try to squeeze the piss out of him. I knew this was it. I go, time's running out. This is what I do. I got him in a triangle. This is it. If he gets out, I'm going to kill myself. So I just let it all out right there. I was just squeezing. And I remember I did a couple things that I don't normally do. I usually hold my foot down with my left hand, but I was holding it down with two. I just did not want that triangle to be uncinched, and I was holding it down like that. I was hoping he would just tap with that, but then I realized, I got to pull his head. You hear Jamie screaming, pull his head, pull his head. So then I went and just grabbed his head, and I pulled it. that was it. That was it. And I stood up like I had done it a million times before, but I had the feeling like, you know, so many people didn't even know that I did jiu-jitsu, and the people that did know, they probably thought, he's just like some blue belt or something. Oh, he's doing jiu-jitsu, how cute. Oh, he's a commentator, so he thinks he should do jiu-jitsu. No, you know, the people on the West Coast, they're the only ones that really knew that I had some legit.
So you think we went to the moon?
That's not what I asked you. I said, how much did you look into that?
Do you think we went to the moon?
Eddie